Hello, folks. Hi, everyone. We will go ahead and begin today's webinar. Let me start by saying welcome to Supporting Deaf College Students, Perspectives from Disability Services Professional. I know that online presentations and webinar always feel a little odd because I feel like I'm on my own out here, and I'm sure you might feel the same. We have at least 100 people registered for today's webinar, so you're not alone. And besides that, NDC is here to support you, here to have conversations with you, here to talk about challenges and solutions at any time. So feel free to reach out to the team here in case you have any needs. I am Jeffrey Levi Palmer, and I coordinate the research team. My pronouns are he, his. I am a white man with brown hair and glasses. Before we get going in our conversation about the report, I want to give some underlying information on our thinking behind the report and also our general philosophy here at NDC. It really involves two things. First is that access is all-encompassing. It's more than just access. It's more than just accommodations. It should include all aspects of campus life. There's joy as well as frustration included in campus life. And all deaf students have a right to be fully immersed in everything that entails. Number two, something that is critical for all deaf individuals is that our team did research a lot of articles, and we found a couple things. We found some guidelines that looked at deaf youth in three different categories: graduates, those attending college that may have not completed, and then college graduates. And a study that tracked those for 10 years looked at their successes, the type of careers attained, and what their lifespan looked like in those 10 years. And really, a lot of it came down to the fact that college is important. Whether someone graduates or not, if they've attended graduate at some point, they do have a chance for an improved outcome. For example, improved pay, resulting in higher wages. They have a chance to be promoted at their site of employment. And also, the more involved a person was in community organizations, if they were more civically involved, those areas were also impacted due to having attended college. So college is incredibly important for deaf people. In our study, I also want to share that Carrie Lou Garbriologo, our co-director, also ran a 10-year research and saw that in terms of graduate rates and seeing if there were improvement or not. There was a finding that those who get a BA degree continue increasing their education, and there are more and more or higher numbers of deaf individuals obtaining their BAs, their bachelor degrees. So this is a direct reflection of the work that is being done by people here and the impacts that you are making. Next slide. With this report, I'll ask you to imagine a time before COVID. I know that's difficult. We have been living with COVID for several years. But this data report was sent out to disability support access offices throughout the country. And it was sent out during 2018 to 2020, during the time when COVID interrupted items. And so a lot of the responses here were pre-COVID. We do understand that since COVID, practices have changed, and we've seen a lot more online education opportunities. In the fall, we'll be recollecting data to be able to make a comparison and see what the differences are. We had over 300 respondents to our survey. Not everyone included their institution name, which is fine. We did receive 87 institutes that provided nice examples, private institutes, public institutes, as well, and collected this diverse data from training, career training programs, vocational programs, as well as colleges and universities. The goal of the report is to share what's happening in your offices and also make some recommendations or suggestions for improvement. With that, we'll move on to the next slide. I'm allowing some time for you to review the slide if you'd like to give it a look. We did ask about services and we're curious about services being provided. More than 50% had 0 to 9 students of the institutions had 0 to 9 students. And a couple had cohorts of 10 to 19 students. Some institutions had over 100 students, about 20% had over 100 students. Over the last 5 years, in terms of changes, we received a mixed response. Some institutions said they had more enrollment, some said they had less. Next slide, please. Now I'd like to get a pulse of the group here today and how you'd respond to this question. What best describes you? Are you a new service provider to the deaf? Or do you have some experience in providing support services to the deaf? Or option number 3, you have extensive experience supporting deaf students. Just curious to see who's here with us today. Okay, the numbers are coming in based off your answers. Okay. We can stop the poll. It looks like a mix. We have 15% new service providers and roughly 46% of individuals who express having some experience. And we have 39% responding that they have extensive experience. So we have a good mix of people here today. And this is great because part of our mission here at NDC is not only to provide resources and support, but to also connect you with other individuals, connect you with a network of people that might have more experience, or someone that might have experience in a specific issue or a specific challenge that they may have faced with their program. We want to connect you. So I want to express my gratitude to all of you that are here for showing up today. Next slide, please. This slide kind of shows the categories of the responses that came in. Today, being such a short presentation, I'll touch upon 1 or 2 data points of each category. I won't get in depth. If you would like an in-depth view of the report, I encourage you to take a look at it itself. And also for this slide, we hired a deaf artist to provide the imagery and to provide us some visuals to keep our attention on the screen as I present today. Next slide, please. I'll give you a second to read through it. Disability services offices have different types of structure, right? Sometimes there are staff interpreters. Sometimes there are staff that coordinate entire services. Sometimes there are just college advisors. And then you have other offices that have a single individual doing all the work for the different roles for the students with disabilities. Our report shows that about half, 46%, of disability services offices have a dedicated intake advisor that is aware and up to date with deaf student issues and can process those intakes. Many of you also shared that you encourage students to show up anytime, that you have an open door policy, basically, for them to come in and talk about issues as they occur. A lot of disability services shared that. However, Only 21% mentioned that there is a formal system to collect feedback, like having an end of year survey of some type. Okay, very well. Next slide, please. This slide covers orientation and advising. 20% of the responses indicated that there is an individual that is dedicated as an academic advisor for the students throughout their college years. When it comes to orientation, a lot of you did share that you show up on orientation day or for new student orientations, that the disability services provider sometimes has a booth, gives a presentation, short one, or responds to student questions on orientation day. And that was only 14% that responded, showing up on site to be able to respond to those questions or those orientation opportunities. Next slide. In regards to instruction, faculty, and staff, a lot of you encourage faculty to share slides ahead of time and have the instructors or professors share that with the students. But have a feeling that only about 48% of the staff is actually handing that out. From our previous report that we received from students, a student report informs us that that's true. They do mention that there is frustration because the instructors do share the slides or materials, but not ahead of time. And a majority of the time they're online. Students would like to be able to receive them before class starts, not at class. It seems that's still an issue. Next slide, please. This was really neat because research shows that students who are immersed in campus, involved in extracurricular activities, involved in some type of club or student club, some type of campus life, tend to do better and continue and finish out their program, which is nice to see that there was a high percentage, 86% of you provide accommodations for student clubs and student activities. That does come across as fantastic. Another research-based practice that really supports student success is mentoring. A couple colleges mentioned having mentoring programs that sometimes students don't feel they're a great fit with. And the responses we received is that there is specific design for deaf students in mentoring, and that was 16% of you indicated that there is some sort of program in place. Next slide, please. Now talking about technology and accessibility. Nowadays, there are more and more videos. Classes are held online much more increasingly. So we did ask about technology and access. 47 responded having assistive listening devices, technology for classroom use. We also asked about captions and what is done in that aspect. We received responses that faculty is responsible for captioning. Some indicated that they provide support to faculty, some have support systems. Some made it clear that they let staff know how to add closed captions. And 42% indicated that they hire a third-party vendor or have some sort of system to caption those videos. Next slide, please. The last category had to do with physical spaces, physical venues, buildings, physical facilities. Because access is campus-wide, we did check in about dorms. And it seems that there are few areas that provide alarms or non-auditory based alarms or doorbells within the dorms. only 13% responded that they provide such items. And number two, about noise in the classroom. Our previous student survey had a lot of students that don't use CART nor use interpreters, students that just rely on their own hearing via hearing aids or assistive technology of some sort. Those students mentioned that sometimes being in a classroom, like an auditorium designed classroom, there's a lot of noise that creates barriers. So we checked in with the disability offices to see if they were familiar with those types of barriers. And the response was 47% of an affirmation, the recognition that the classrooms are not fully free from excess distracting noise that might disturb those students who are dependent on hearing.
All right,
Okay,
next
next
slide,
slide.
please. So at the end of our report, we have several recommendations, and these are included in them. We recommend recruiting and retaining qualified professionals who are able to interact with deaf professionals and students. Also, provide support and professional development. Those who have skills and knowledge in terms of how to engage with deaf students and who know and thoroughly understands their specific needs. Thirdly, improve communication and feedback. Communication policies, communicating different ways to improve on all policies and procedures. We also have recommended committing to providing accommodations and access across all of campus and campus life, and also trying to just be mindful of having the entire campus involved in spaces, technologies, thinking through everything, making the university space less filled with barriers and noise and other things that really impact these deaf students. So we wonder which of these things impact you the most. So on the next slide, there's another poll question for you. And this question reads, what kind of support would you like to see from us at NDC? All right, next slide, please. All right, you ought to see the poll on your screens now. Please go ahead and participate by indicating which you need the most support. What are you looking for? And if what you're looking for matches one of these categories, please, like I say, go ahead and indicate that for us. And the responses are coming in. Great. I already sort of had a suspicion. So this is interesting, that final choice that you all were posed with, getting the entire campus on board and being all on the same page and committing to access campus wide. It's a challenge. You're not wrong. And most of you, 60% of you, in fact, chose that option. We've got our final slide up here. And I know when I go to a training or a lecture of some sort of talk, I get excited and I want to know what's next. So we thought we would help you out with that. There, the reports that you can review and share with your colleagues and have a discussion about those reports. You can email us or go ahead and book an appointment with us. We've got time dedicated to respond to you individually. You can look online and get one of those appointment slots that we've got available for you. If you don't know, we have a listserv, and it's an email list with many, many professionals and deaf students deaf professionals, everyone is able to join this. You can pose a question there. That network is amazing. It's really nice. It provides a lot of ideas and resources. It's a great group of folks. So feel free and be brave to join us, not only join us, but pose your questions there and see what information you can get from that space. Also continue a dialogue with your deaf students to see through this presentation. We'll see people go, okay, you know what? We really do need to go back and start with what's important, which is the deaf student. Then get feedback from them, engage them even more, and see how that works for you in these coming semesters. I'm sure the chat also listed the different ways to contact us, but if not, please send us an email at help@nationaldeafcenter.org. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar. Take care, everyone. Thanks again. Have a great afternoon.